Hello and welcome to the Cope Life podcast. Thank you again for being here. I'm so grateful for you to be here. And we got a special episode tonight. Tonight, what I want to talk to you about is I want to let you know, and you might not like it, you do not need closure. You see, as part of building this Cope Life community where we're striving for kindness, optimism, positivity, and empathy, it really starts with the individual elevating their emotional intelligence, elevating your self awareness and your ability to regulate your emotions. And what you'll find as you're dealing with something in your life that you're not happy about, something in your life that happened where you feel like you need closure, what you'll find is that you really don't need it. Think about it. I mean, we can just go through several different examples, right? So, suppose that you've been seeing someone for a while, you have a significant other, and you feel like you're in love with that person, and they break up with you, and you don't know why exactly. Well, that's what you tell yourself. What you do is you ruminate about it. You keep it in your mind. You're overthinking. What did I do? What did they do? What is it that I understand or don't understand? And you find a way to come up with these questions to haunt yourself. Well, stop it. You don't need to do that. You have these questions, and now you think to yourself, I just want to talk to her one more time. If I could just ask him one question, then I'll get closure. Closure for what? You are smart enough, beautiful enough, amazing enough, good enough. You are enough so that you can build the life that you desire and deserve. You don't need anything from anyone who's decided that they don't want you in their life anymore. If someone says, or if someone feels that they do not need to be with you or they don't want to be with you anymore because of whatever reason, maybe you talk too much or talk too little, you're too tall, you're too short, too skinny, too fat, too rich, too poor, whatever the reason is. At some point in time, because you know this person, you actually knew their preferences, you knew what they were looking for, and you're not it. And I know that can hurt. Trust me, I know. And you have these questions. Why don't you want me anymore? Why don't you love me anymore? What did I do? What could I have done differently? And the truth is that the answer is nothing. There's nothing you could have done differently. And I say that because if you were being your true, authentic self in that relationship, and then this person was able to tell you that you could have done something differently to keep them around, doing something differently would have meant doing something other than being true to yourself. In any relationship that you are in, you have to choose to love yourself first. You have to choose your happiness first. And that's not selfishness. The truth is, the more that you love and care for yourself, the more you're able to provide for others. So, taking care of yourself and loving yourself is the best way to elevate yourself and everyone that loves you and everyone that you care about. So, what happens is you do that. You're true to yourself, you're honest, you're authentic, you hold nothing back, you give all that you've got. And this other person says, I don't want it anymore. I don't align with it. We're not a match. Whatever excuse they give you. Or maybe even they just ghosted you. Maybe they just stop returning your messages, stop returning your calls. That is information. You are not required to have an emotional response. You're not required to have closure. You're not required to do anything but move on with your life and continue to seek that happiness that you desire and deserve. Continue to seek the life that is meant for you. And what this person is doing is telling you that the life that you really want, the life that you should have, is not a life that's going to include them. They did you a favor. And man, I know it hurts. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that this person leaving you is the best thing for you. But the truth of the matter is, there's certain directions that you need to move in your life to realize your potential, to realize who you are and who you have the power to be. And I'm talking about really becoming the best version of yourself. And the way that we do that, first of all, is just elevating your self awareness. Who are you really? What are your goals? What are your values? What's important to you? What makes you truly come alive? Understand those things about yourself. And then when you do that, you can look back and recognize that those other people in your life that have decided to move on with their lives without you, they never brought you to that point anyway. There were obstacles to the life that you desire and deserve. There were obstacles to true fulfillment in your life. And so demanding closure for relationships that are dead and gone only builds obstacles for you. It's like you requiring closure is you putting barriers in your own path. Don't do that. Why hold yourself back? Move on, move forward. And when I say move on and move forward, I'm not saying that you're just going to forget about it like it didn't happen. We're talking about real human emotions. And sometimes, man, that shit hurts. It hurts bad. We're down bad and we can be bawling our eyes out. We could be stress eating. If you're like me, we're talking about good Italian food, pizza, pasta, some tiramisu. There's lots of things that we can do when we're hurting inside. But one thing we're not going to do is to act like we require something from someone who doesn't want us to be in their lives anymore. And this is more than just your intimate relationships. This could be your job. This could be someone that you thought you were cool with that blocked you on social media. You don't need closure. You are who you are. That's information. You don't need to know everything. It would be nice. It would be nice when you ask the question, why don't you love me anymore? It would be nice if they gave you an answer, or so you think. It really wouldn't. You'd think it would be nice, but it wouldn't. What if they told you that there's something that you do regularly and they just had enough? They can't take it anymore. Would that make you feel better? What are you going to do then? Tell them that you're going to stop and beg them to take you back when they've already shown you and demonstrated in every possible way that they don't want you? Do you want that closure? Do you want them to tell you that you're not good enough for them? And when they say that you are not good enough for them, you take that as you're not good enough. When in reality, that relationship is not good enough for you. In reality, you have to quit trying to be good enough for other people. Don't let somebody else tell you that you're not good enough for them. Is your self-love good enough for you? Are you doing the things that bring you happiness, that elevate your self-esteem? Are you doing the things that make you come alive? You can look back at your relationships and you can think about all the things you wanted to do that you did not do that you say is in the name of love. But in reality, you were holding yourself back. And so now that this relationship is over, you demanding closure, you demanding some final answers, is you self-sabotaging, is you creating more barriers to your own progress. The person who doesn't want you, the person who has decided that you do not align with their future, is not the person you should be depending on to remove your barriers, to help you move forward, to help you begin to live the life that you desire and deserve. The only person that can give you that is you. The only person that can ensure that you are loved the way that you deserve to be loved is you. You're the only one. And so when you say, I just want to ask him this one thing, I just want to know if she did this, I just need this answer. No, you don't. What's really going on is you're feeling some insecurity, you're feeling hurt, and you're looking for that other person to come back, and you want to know if they care enough to help you put a Band-Aid on the wound. But when you are seeking closure, when you are demanding answers, you are opening that wound yourself. You're doing it to yourself. You do not need closure. You do not need someone else to tell you again that they don't want you. Is that going to make you feel better? It's not. The answer is no. You do not need closure. You do not need answers from someone who doesn't need you or want to be with you anymore. And quite often, these people who leave you out there like this actually have secrets that you don't know about, whether it's secrets involving other people or secrets involving feelings that they've had, maybe perceptions that they have had about you that they never told you about. And what you're doing when you say, I need closure, you're opening yourself up. You're opening yourself up to be vulnerable to someone who's already demonstrated a willingness to hurt you. And it may not be their desire or intent to hurt you. They may still care for you very much. But their bottom line is to move on without you. And so their bottom line, their vision of their future is painful to you. And when you go back and you say, I need closure, what you're saying is, let me see your vision again without me. Hurt me again. Stop creating those barriers for yourself. You deserve better. You deserve to be loved for who you are by someone who appreciates you, your true, authentic self. So if you find yourself in a relationship where you are unable to be your true, authentic self, when you are unable to engage in the things that make you truly come alive, then maybe you are the one that needs to dig a little deeper, look a little higher, and end the relationship. But what you don't need is closure. You do not need someone else's validation or judgment of you. You don't need someone else's depiction of the character that you are in their eyes from their perspective. You don't need that. What you need to do is elevate who you are in your own eyes. You are powerful, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are smart, and you have the ability to move forward with your life regardless of what anyone else thinks or says, regardless of their attitudes or opinions. They may say that the reason that they don't want to be with you anymore is because, like I said before, too tall, too short, too rich, too poor, too wide, too thin. It doesn't matter because that's their opinion. What you need to be able to do is to look in the mirror and love what you see and who you see. Love yourself. When you look at your body in the mirror and you look at the amount of fat, the amount of muscles, look at your height and your hair or lack of hair, whatever it is, you know the journey that got you to this point. You know your effort, you know your struggles. You know that when life hurt the most, you did what you could do to survive. So give yourself credit for getting to this point. And don't rely on the opinion of someone else to validate you, to talk about how good you are if you're good enough. You don't need that. Love yourself, care for yourself. Figure out what your strengths are, figure out what your values are, and go live those values. And what you end up doing is you end up really understanding the deepest parts of yourself. You end up understanding what truly, truly gives you purpose in this life, what truly makes you happy. And then you recognize that you deserve that happiness. You recognize that you don't need permission from anybody else. You recognize that you can go do the things that make you happy right now. You can do it for yourself. And then as you begin to recognize how beautiful and wonderful and amazing you are, and you begin to put more effort into loving yourself properly, you begin to put more effort into really engineering the life that you desire and deserve. What you'll begin to do is you'll begin to attract the people who recognize your true worth in your authentic self. And they will align with your true self. And when I say that, I'm not talking about a new lover, new boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the people who are closest to you. Friends, coworkers, someone that you haven't even met yet. This can draw you closer to your parents and your siblings and your children by loving yourself. People want to get a part of that. When people see that you love yourself, they want to know why. Why do you love yourself? But it's hard to ask that question. You see, when you're feeling bad and you're feeling miserable, people can ask you, what's wrong? What's going on? But when you're living your truly higher self, They don't just want to know what's going on. They don't want to know why are you glowing. They want a piece of that. So instead of looking for closure, instead of looking for reasons or opinions or validation from someone who's chosen to live without you, choose to elevate yourself. And then you will draw people to you who want to feel whatever it is that you're feeling that's bringing you to the point of truly providing that love to yourself. That's what I wanted you to understand today. Love yourself. You do not need closure from anybody else. You don't need reasons, affirmations, excuses, someone else's opinion, someone else's perspective. You don't need them. And I can prove it to you because you're going to move on without them and you're going to be fine. When you learn to truly love yourself for who you are, believing in yourself, becoming your truest, authentic self, then you elevate your mind, you elevate your heart that puts you in a position to live a COPE life, a life of kindness, optimism, positivity, and empathy, a life that draws other people to you who are also looking for love and kindness and empathy. So with that said, thank you so much for being here. Another episode of the COPE Life Podcast. I appreciate you. I thank you so much. And until next time, take care, my friends.